Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, and today is a special episode. It's a special episode for me, and I want to make it special for you. Today I am turning 63, and I was born in 1963. So it's actually the first birthday other than when I turned 60, where I started to actually do a lot of introspective work and thinking about the journey ahead and the journey behind. And it's interesting because when you start to realize that most of your life is behind you, you really start to embrace and give so much gratitude and thanks for the fact that you're still here. And that's how I feel. I am very grateful that I get to be here to celebrate 63, where so many people don't have that opportunity. And so it's reflection and also just looking at what has changed and what has remained. And so, like many of you, I have been on a journey with my career, a journey personally. But today, as I turn 63, what really matters most is not about my age for me, it's about ownership. Over the last year, I really stopped negotiating with myself. You know, those conversations that we have with ourselves, well, I'll just do this now, or maybe I'll just have a little bit more of this, or maybe I'll just do this on the weekend. I'll just eat this now and I won't do it again for another month, or it's the holidays, or I'm going on vacation. We have all these negotiations that we have with ourselves. And so I just decided to stop doing it. And it wasn't just one day that I woke up. It actually came from, I think, a series of things. And I'm not a therapist. I can't psychoanalyze myself, but I'll just tell you where I think it actually started. So I think it started when I retired from my corporate career and leaving behind the paycheck and those automatic relationships that you have with the people you work with. And then, of course, with the people you're calling on, those social engagements you get together for. And now you're out on your own doing whatever it is that you're doing. And around the same time, my mother's memory started to go, and we realized that something was happening. And so I volunteered to be her full-time caregiver. And that's what I did during the pandemic at the same time that I was creating and developing my businesses. And so that was kind of an awareness that things had shifted and that they were never going to be the way that they were. And so I did negotiate with myself in some ways that, oh, maybe next year things will be different, or maybe when my mom gets better, I'll be able to do this. And of course, my mother wasn't going to get better. And of course, I wasn't going to be able to go back to the way things were. And I decided that I had to move forward. And it wasn't an easy journey because when I was during the pandemic taking care of my mother, I actually had a very bad ulcerative colitis flare. And of course, it makes sense, right? You have an incurable disease. It's a pandemic. You are alone taking care of someone. And so I realized that this was not going away, and I couldn't negotiate with myself about that. But this year, as I turned 63 today, And it actually started yesterday when I realized it was my last day of being 62. And I thought, okay, my mom lived to be this age, and my dad lived to be this age. How much longer do I really have? And of course, we don't know the answer to that. And as I mentioned earlier, many people don't even make it to 63. So I started shifting my perspective instead of how much time I have left to how much I have to be grateful for. And I really believe that it comes from the fact that I have let go of certain things. And I've also changed my mindset and my perspective. So I've been celebrating my birthday alone. I would say this is probably my 5th year. There's no one here. There's no one, there's no happy birthday, there's no cake, there's no nothing. It's just me. And I'm okay with that because I am at peace with myself. But prior to this, last year, I had some blood test work done for my upcoming colonoscopy, and the test results were not really good. And I didn't really go into it with anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. But I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe my life is going to go in another direction and it's not going to be that much longer. And I thought instead of being upset about it, why don't I just take the time that I have? And so what I did was I was supposed to go back for a colonoscopy and I decided not to go. I had 2 of them scheduled last year after the one that I had in, I think, March of 2025. And the doctors wanted me to come back in 2 months. And I just decided I wasn't going to do it. And then fast forward to this year, 2026, I had moved the appointment until March, which is the month that we're in. And I said to myself back in January, you know what? I actually don't want to go for this test because I'm already on the watch list and I'm very concerned with the test results I had last year. So I made a decision then that I was not going to negotiate with myself. That first of all, I needed to get the test done. Second of all, I needed to look at, although I already had a relatively healthy lifestyle, what is it that I was doing, whether it was occasionally or regularly, that was not serving my body? And I've already looked at food in a different way than I used to look at it. So it used to be, I grew up in a family where we would dine together. My father would always say, we're dining now, we're dining. Don't come back to the table because we're going to be here until you close. And that was really terrific. But today, I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like food is fuel. It is fuel to help us accomplish certain things. So I don't plan my day around eating. And in fact, I eat the same things every single day. So I decided back in January that I was no longer going to drink. So I've only drank Chardonnay. That's my go-to drink probably for the last 20 years. And I decided I wasn't going to drink anymore. And I decided I wasn't going to eat sugar anymore. And I love chocolate. And I decided I wasn't going to eat pizza anymore. And I loved pizza. But the funny thing is, when I would drink, I would say to myself, why am I doing this? I don't even get anything out of it. Or when I was eating pizza, sometimes I would just be halfway through the slice and I would say, this is just not doing it for me. Why am I eating this? So I decided to let go of all of it. And you would think that after you're doing something for a long time, that it would be difficult to let go of, but it actually wasn't. It was not difficult to stop drinking. It was not difficult to stop eating sugar. And it was not difficult to prioritize myself. And so as a result of that, as I am now 63, I feel like I have been given a gift because I am in control of what I'm putting in my body. And you may think to yourself, oh, good for you. And you may make excuses and you may judge me. And that's fine. You can say whatever it is you want to say. But if you think about it, how much control of what you put in your body are you in? Are you just eating just because? Are you just drinking things just because? Are you letting go of things and then substituting them with something else? And that to me is a really important point. I will watch these clips on Instagram and you hear a celebrity say, oh, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't had alcohol in 7 years. but I do this, but I do that, and I'm thinking, okay, there's no judgment. A person might say, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I'm vaping, but I'm smoking pot, so people will take assessment of what they're doing and they'll say, okay, I'm going to let go of this, but I'm going to substitute it with this. So maybe you decide you don't want to eat sugar anymore, but then you decide you're going to eat salt. So you're not actually getting down to the root cause of what's going on. And that I can say at 63, I have a very good handle on. I am very capable, as are you, of dealing with stress and dealing with uncomfortable situations without placating myself with something to make me feel good. And there's an expression that I used to say to myself, and I've heard other people say this as well. You know what? I deserve this. You know what? I've earned this. But the truth is, the behavior in and of itself can be out of control because you can't stop it. And is it really healthy for what you're doing? And somebody else, I've heard people say this a zillion times, you know what? We're all going to die one day. And that is true. So we can watch every single thing that we do. We can live a very healthy lifestyle and we may drop dead anyway. That is very true. It reminds me back to when I was growing up. My mom used to have this chart that we would put onto the refrigerator, and it would have all the chores that we needed to do. And one of them was vacuuming. And so, if you've ever vacuumed before, I would vacuum so that there were all these lines in the carpet. And I loved if there weren't lines, then it didn't seem like I was doing what I was supposed to do, but there was a lot of structure. So when I did the vacuuming, I felt like I'd accomplished something because I could see the result. And it's the same thing. I have now taken control over what is going into my body. And guess what? The blood tests and the physical and the colonoscopy, they all show the results. So if I was only doing this because I wanted to lose a certain amount of weight or I wanted to look a certain way, it would be a failure. I've lost 6 pounds, but I would say when you give up things that you really love that you've been doing, and again, I live alone. So it's not like there's anyone to say, well, don't do this and don't do that. It's only me. But what I do love is that I am sharp. My mind is focused. I am stronger than I've ever been at 63. I sleep really well, and I'm not highly emotional. When I was growing up and even into my 20s and 30s, my emotions would be like this. They would be all over the place, high highs and low lows. And now I'm pretty much like this. That doesn't mean that I don't feel anything. I do. I've mentioned before that where I live, my apartment has been flooded twice from the units upstairs. So it was last year was flooded and this year was flooded. I had to move into a hotel. I literally saw things that can't be replaced through insurance, photographs, paperwork floating in water in my apartment. And you know what I reached for? Nothing. I looked for what was the solution? What could I do to get the water to stop? It was coming from upstairs. Who could I call? And so I look for what are the solutions. So part of the reason I wanted to do this show was to share with you what my experience has been in a productive way. I don't ever want to be saying to someone, you know, at your age, I used to do this. No, it's not about that. It's about looking at our own behavior. Why are we making the choices we make? I know someone who loves to vape. This person vapes all of the time. And I said to this person, you know, vaping is probably not the healthiest thing. I don't even really see people doing it. I know they are. And the person said, you know, I really like it. And I said, you really like it. I understand. But what about the ramifications it's having on your health? And the person said, well, nothing's going to happen with me. And maybe that's the case. Maybe the person really believes that, but research and science studies show otherwise. So my whole point in doing this show is to share with you that I have been able to make decisions that have changed everything for me, not slowly, one day at a time. And I decided and I followed through. I have let go of what I did myself and what many of us do. And it's that negotiating with myself. I will hear this so many times from people. You know what? I'm going on vacation. I'm going to let loose. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then they come back and they're like, oh my gosh, I hate myself. Or people decide that they're going to treat themselves. And the whole time they're doing it, all they do is complaining. I don't know why I'm eating this. I shouldn't be eating this. Well, why are you eating it then? If you're going to eat it, then enjoy it. And there's also an expression, which is everything in moderation. I don't think I actually agree with this. I don't think it's good to go so far one way or so far another way, but I do think that you have to take a stance and you have to follow through with it. So for me, what comes up is being able to make choices where I'm in control of what I can do for this container that I've been given. And of course, we can't erase what's happened in time. We can't go back and undo, but the body does hold a memory. And the way that I really was most, I guess, intrigued by this was when someone talked to me about our digestive tract. If you think about your intestines, okay, it's not a sexy subject, but without our intestines, we couldn't exist, right? So we have a digestive process that's very involved. And if we are not doing right by our bodies, that system is the one that is bearing the brunt of it. And it may not show up this year, next year, but at some point it may, if we keep making choices that are not conducive. I like to think of it as a car because people can relate to this. The car itself, if we don't take care of it, eventually it's not going to run properly. And if you've ever been in a car that hasn't been well maintained, you didn't do the oil change, you didn't get the tires changed, you didn't do all the things that come with that, you will notice that the car is not running well. Or if you do take care of it, I know friends who have cars with 200 and 300,000 miles because they're taking care of it. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to this container. It's about what are we doing to take control of it. So I'd like you to think, first of all, about the negotiation. What are you negotiating with yourself about? Because you don't actually want to look at what's going on. What are you not actually in control of because you're bargaining with yourself? Well, and I'll give you an example. Today's my birthday, right? I already know that. So I don't drink alcohol. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat bread. I could go on and on. So there will be no cake. There will be no Chardonnay, but it's still my birthday. So am I sitting here lamenting going, you know what? Today's my birthday. Why don't I just have some cake? Why don't I have a glass of wine? No, I don't need it. It's not going to bring me anything except very short-term satisfaction that is then going to turn into guilt, upsetment, and just looking at myself saying, you really had to let go of what you believe in because of a day, because it's your birthday? No, but we do it all the time. Oh, it's the holidays. I think I'll eat out of control because it's the holidays. And by the way, I don't need your comment that I'm wearing too much makeup. It's my birthday, so goodbye. That's what I mean. People who have nothing nice to say, don't watch. Okay, don't watch. Go find something else to do. Okay, back to what I was saying. When you are in control, like I just was, I set boundaries and I'm not going to put up with negativity. Go work on yourself. Okay, we all have the choice to work on who we are and what we're doing. That doesn't mean people are going to like it. I'm not going for most popular person. I'm not going for, oh, I want to have the most number of followers or subscribers. I want to have peace, and I do. I live a very peaceful life. There is very little drama. Not that I haven't had drama, not that I wasn't a proponent of drama in my life. Of course I was, but I wasn't aware of it. So I don't know where you are in your life, if you're a proponent of drama or if you have a lot of drama going on. It may seem like it's impossible, but it's actually not, because every day that we wake up, we get to make choices. And you can think to yourself, well, I'm in a situation where it doesn't feel like I can make a choice, but you can. It may take the most courage and strength that you've ever had. And maybe you don't even have it, but you know that you don't want to put up with whatever it is you're putting up with. You know you're in a situation that's not feeling good in your body. Every instinct tells you, the hairs on the back of your neck tell you, I need to get out of this situation. And that can be the choices that you make when it comes to food. It can be the choices you make when it comes to the people in your life. It can come to the choices you make about what you're going to do later today. But the good news is you get to make the choice. You get to live with it. And if you don't like the choices that you're making, you can make different ones. And if you don't know how, you can ask for help. So when we make choices that are unhealthy, what I have found is it becomes a repeat pattern of behavior. So I'll give an example. I had stopped eating sugar for about 3 years. And then when my mother became ill and it was her birthday, our family had a bunch of cake. And it seemed like it wouldn't be right not to eat the birthday cake. And so I ate the birthday cake and then I kept eating sugar for another 3 years. And so that's what I'm talking about, negotiating. Well, it's her birthday. We have to eat the cake. No, you don't have to eat the cake. If you care about the person, does it matter if you eat the cake? No, it doesn't. But we tell ourselves it's disrespectful. Well, what's disrespectful is after you eat the cake and you walk away and you can't stand yourself. Or now you are going to work out twice as hard as what you were doing. Or maybe you are not going to eat for 2 days. We come up with all of these things. We're constantly negotiating with ourselves instead of saying, you know what? I'm not going to actually do the behavior because I know what's going to happen. This is where discipline is built. This is where control actually begins. Now, you may think control, we think, oh, he's so controlling, she's so controlling, but we're looking at control in a different way. Control is not a restriction. People think it's just about limiting something, but it's not. Having control means that you have created freedom for yourself. So for me, I have more energy. More energy means more clarity. That means more consistency. It means getting more things done, going more places I want to go, taking on more things that I wouldn't be able to take on otherwise. Because when we have these behavior habits, whether it's food or substances, it could be gambling, it could be shopping, it could be so many different things. When we have these behavior traits in our life, at some point, we don't feel good about it. Maybe it's in a moment where we are alone. And you see this on reality TV. I just saw this show where this woman is compulsively shopping, but yet her house is in foreclosure. She can't stop shopping because, and she's admitted this, she feels so empty inside. She feels afraid, and she knows that she doesn't have the money to get the house out of default, but she'll take whatever the money is to punish herself because of where she is. And people can say, well, shopping isn't a problem. Well, if you can't pay your bills, it is a problem. If your closets are overflowing and you have nowhere else to put anything, it is a problem. So we have to look at it for what it is. The cost of negotiation is that it doesn't just delay any potential results. It really erodes our own ability to trust ourselves. Every time we make an exception, what do we teach ourselves? We teach ourselves that we have standards that are flexible. Now, you may say to yourself, well, I like being flexible. I don't want to be someone who's structured and disciplined. And I'm not here to judge. To each his own. I personally am very structured and very disciplined. And the people who have called me out on it are not structured and disciplined. And so they have their own perspective and I have mine. I'm just telling you that this is what works for me. And so when we start to give ourselves leeway, and here's another example. The beginning of the year, every year, people start to make commitments. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to cut back on that. It's going to be a dry January. I'm going to join the gym, whatever it might be. And then they start having a little bit of flexibility. You know what? What's one drink? You know what? I don't need to go to the gym today. And all of a sudden, that commitment starts to go by the wayside because we have given up our control of ourselves. No one else did it to us. We did it. Now, does that mean you can never have whatever it is that you like? No, it doesn't mean that. It means looking at how much control of yourself and your decisions do you have. If you are someone who is just starting to exercise, it's not an easy journey. I've been working out since I was 16. It's a long time. And to me, I look at it now that I get to do this. I get to go and work out for 100, 120 minutes every day. I get to do that. It's an honor and a privilege. And I recently was injured and I had to take 2 days off. I was told to take 2 weeks off, but I took 2 days off because the thought of not being able to exercise and not being able to get this container, this temple moving was too much for me. So I said to myself, I'm going to go and work out, but maybe I'm not going to do it at the level that I used to for the next 3 days while I have this injury. I didn't say for the next 3 weeks, for the next 3 months. That's what people will do. I've heard it over and over again. I've done probably 10,000 interviews, and I don't judge anyone because that is not my role. I just notice behavior patterns, and I've had some of the patterns myself. So the point is that it's not about being perfect. It's about being aligned with what you say you want and acting accordingly. So you don't need a new plan. You don't need more information. You just need to make a decision. So, some of the key takeaways for today. Negotiation sounds like it's harmless, but it really starts to lower your standards over time. When you continuously give yourself a pass, and by the way, this is something I didn't mention before. Sometimes what we'll do is we will be so steadfast on whatever it is that we want to do that we start looking for other people's research or posts to back it up. So let's look at sugar, for example. We know sugar is not healthy. And why do we know this? I will never forget this. One of my relatives had cancer. And I remember her coming out to dinner with my family, myself, and she said, I can't eat anything with sugar. I can't drink. And so we said, why? And she said, well, I learned that sugar helps the cancer cells grow. So I took that to heart because this is a woman who was so strong her entire life, and she ended up living a number of years more than they said she would. But the thing is, we will tell ourselves that is not going to happen to me. You know what? I know what I'm doing. I'm in charge of what I'm doing. So why is that case so different? And then we start looking up other people who have been eating sugar. Oh, so-and-so is 99 years old and they've been eating sugar. My own grandfather lived to be 99 and he seemed to be very unhealthy in a lot of ways, not a judgment, but just from my knowledge of him. So he lived to be 99. That's great. We have to look at ourselves, and this is the key. How happy are you? Not what you've accomplished, not what's in the bank, not what the letters are after your name, not what your home looks like, not where you went on vacation, on a day-to-day basis. How happy are you? Could you spend your birthday alone? Could you go on vacation alone? Could you give up things that you love because you know that they're not good for you? I will leave you with that for now. There's no right and there's no wrong. But thank you for spending part of my 63rd birthday with me. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to our network, we actually have over 60 shows and we're in over 60 countries. You can follow us on many places. We are coming to you live from 12 different destinations right now. And then we will also be distributed by our distributors as well. But please go over to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio, where we are home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for surpassing over 100,000 subscribers last year. And also my own personal station, which is Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, which we started just a couple of years ago. All right, my friends, I really appreciate you being here. We're going to close out with a few things I wanted to share with you. The first is I have a new book that is out and several more that are coming out. So the top two are coming out in the next 2 months. Stop Giving Away Your Value, Boundaries, Pricing, in the Business of Respect. So I am a certified coach and private advisor. I help business owners understand where they're giving away their value and also how to grow their business. And so this book is coming out in April. You can pre-order it now. Also, My Tummy Hurts. I'm on the board of the Crohn's Colitis Foundation and have been a patient for 35 years. This book is about children when they talk to you about my tummy hurts and really giving it credence and credibility to see, is there something more going on? And of course, my book, Holy But Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment. And there's an accompanying workbook that goes with this, which is all about knowing when people are judging you and also when you're judging others. We all judge, and how to actually look at that behavior and stop doing it. And of course, there's a number of other books here. This is what I call the Bible of everything I've written. It's called Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening, Solutions for Deeper Connections, Better Relationships, and More Authentic Conversations. So if you think you are an expert in listening, I would beg to differ. Most of us have a lot to learn when it comes to listening. And this book talks about the 4 pillars. And then, of course, I also have my children's series, Lady Ella and Lord Jack. So many different things. This is my newest book that has come out. It's Lady Ella and Lord Jack and the Alley Cats of Greece. Last summer, I was in Serenita, Greece, and I noticed that there were a number of cats roaming around, and I felt like they were communicating and saying, help us, help us. And so they were fighting for water and fighting for space on dumpsters. So in this book, Lady Ella and Lord Jack go into Serenita, Greece, and they talk to the alley cats and help them find happiness. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you. The second thing I want to share with you is if you are interested in learning how to listen, which I shared again, most people are doing all the talking. Of course, I'm talking right now because I'm doing a show by myself, but I'm also known as the listening mentor, and I now have that trademark. So I have to update this. It's been with an R right now, which is amazing. And so I actually help people as a peace ambassador, and I also help corporations. I help families learn how to listen at an elevated level to have better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. And then, of course, we have our television network, which is usaglobaltv.com. If you're interested in being a guest, you can come right over here to book your session, and then you can scroll down and then follow the instructions here. We offer 3 complimentary interviews per year. And then if you're interested in additional interviews, you can follow this step. If you want to join our team or be a TV show host, you can follow the 3rd step. And then, of course, if you've been a guest, we can help you really promote your content so that you can have as many people as possible watching. And then finally, I offer a series of courses, business courses. I've been brought into London, Zambia, Greece, many places in the US to teach my courses. And you can actually go right here to this site, which is thinkific.com, and you can sign up for my courses here. All right. Thank you again. We are going to leave today. I'm going to share the movie trailer for my new book, My Tummy Hurts. And I look forward to seeing you again on a future episode. Thank you for being here. My Tummy Hurts by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Meet Jackie. She loves recess, running with friends, and laughing on the playground. At school, Jackie tries to play like she always does, but suddenly the pain comes back. Lately, something feels different and her tummy hurts, sometimes a little and sometimes a lot. With the help of a caring teacher, a nurse, her mom, and a kind doctor, Jackie begins to understand what her body is trying to tell her. Sometimes tummy pain is more than a simple bellyache. Some children live with conditions like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease. Jackie listens to her body. She asks for help. She knows she's not alone. And Jackie finds her way back to running, laughing, and being herself. My Tummy Hurts, A Kid's Guide to Bellyaches and Bathroom Troubles by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, available on Amazon and in fine bookstores around the world.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover holy but harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.